Hi grade 11s, welcome back to another episode with Maski TV. Today's focus point will be on the chapter trigonometry, and more so specifically we're going to focus on the reduction formulae. Alright, so our objectives are as follows. We need to understand what it is to reduce a trigonometric expression. We need to understand the concept of co-ratios, negative angles, as well as numeric reduction. Alright. Now, this is just a quick recap of grade 10 trigonometry. It is writing our trig ratios, right? And we, as a product of what we see in the triangle, so we know that sine of theta or sine of the angle in the triangle is known as the opposite over the hypotenuse. The cos is the adjacent over the hypotenuse, and we know that tan is opposite over adjacent. Just a grade 10 recap. We need to always identify the right angle in my triangle, and I must always use the reference angle. In this case, it is theta. It can be beta, it can be alpha, it can even be x, okay? We need to also differentiate between the adjacent side and the hypotenuse side as well. So this looks like a very lot of information, but don't worry, there is just something very simple that you need to go, and I'm going to try to keep it on the screen. All we must know is that this year is so we have 4 quadrants: quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3, and quadrant 4. And the reason why ASTC is highlighted in yellow is to tell you in which quadrants those trig ratios are positive. So in the first quadrant, all is positive, and here we will use 360 plus the angle. In quadrant 2, sine is positive, so we have 180 minus the angle. In quadrant 3, we have tan, which is the third quadrant where it's 180 plus the angle, and then in quadrant 4 is where cos is positive, and there we have 360 degrees minus the angle. So if I can just put all of this into a summary, it will look something like this, okay? Here I have ASTC, okay? And then at the same time, I know that here I have 360 degrees plus the angle. Here I have 180 degrees minus the angle. Minus the angle. In this case, we're using theta. I'm going to use theta over here. We use theta. Here I have 180 degrees plus the angle theta. And here I have 360 degrees minus the angle, which is theta. Okay? This is all you need to know about the cos diagram. All is positive in quadrant 1. In quadrant 2, I have sine to be positive. In quadrant 3, I have tan to be positive. And in quadrant 4, I have cos to be positive. So what am I going to do? I'm going to reduce a very complex looking trig ratio into something very, very simple. That is the aim of what I want to do over here. One more important thing for us to know is the co-ratios, okay? We know that sine and cos is known as the co-ratios of each other. So sine of 90 plus theta is known as cos of theta. It's the same thing, okay? Cos of 90 degrees plus theta is negative sine of theta. Sine of 90 minus theta is the same like cos of theta, and cos of 90 minus theta is also known as sine of theta. Okay? Right, very important to our co-ratios as well, and I will come back as a reference to that. Okay? We don't need to know this here. We are again going through co-ratios, so something that is explained on the slide before this, right? And I want to go straight into something very important, which is our trig identities, okay? So if you look at the root word of identities, it is identical, something which is exactly the same. So another way of us to represent sine squared x plus cos squared x is what? 1. It's a trigonometric way of writing the number 1, okay? Sine squared theta can be written as 1 minus cos squared of theta. And obviously, if we manipulate this equation over here, cos squared theta will be 1 minus sine squared of theta. And then lastly, tan of x, I'm saying theta, but theta can be x, theta can be beta, alpha. It refers to your angle, okay? And then tan of x is sine of x over cos of x. Or tan of theta is sine of theta divided by cos of theta. All right, so if we know our trig identities, and if we know the very basic reduction formula over here, it will be very, very simple for us to solve the given problems, okay? So I'm just going to write the question down. The question is cos of 90 plus x. In fact, I'm going to use the black marker so we can perhaps see better. So I'm going to use cos, and that will be 90 degrees plus x times tan, and that will be 180 degrees minus x, and that is all over sine squared, and this will be 180 degrees plus x over here. Now I'm going to go back so we don't have to look at the answer, so we can just use what we have quickly went through in our summary to solve the problem over here, okay? So if I look at the first part, what am I going to do now? I'm going to take all these trig ratios over here and I'm going to reduce it into something very simple, a simple trig ratio, all right? So cos of 90 plus x, we went through this. This is what we call a co-ratio, and the co-ratio for cos of 90 plus x simply became what? Negative sine of x, okay? Now your trig ratios and your reduction formula and your co-ratios, this you must know, girls and boys. Can you see here? I'm going to quickly show you where I got it from. Here's where I got it from, cos of 90 plus x in the slide over here. There we go. That's where I got the negative sine x from. That's why I'm telling you, this information here you have to know, okay? And once we know that information, we can just apply it to the problem. So here we have negative sine of x, okay? So I've reduced that to this over here. Now, I have tan of 180 minus x. Now I must go check, okay, where is 180 minus the angle? 180 minus the angle is in quadrant 2. But quadrant 2 is where sine is positive. Can you see that? It's where sine is positive, meaning that tan and cos is negative in that quadrant over here. That is why I need to write this as negative tan of x. You see that? Because I have 180 minus do not correspond with tan. It corresponds with sine. Hence why the negative sign over here. Here, I now have sine squared of 180 plus x, right? But I know because it is sine of 180 plus, it is not corresponding with tan. So that's why I have it as negative sine. But remember, here it's been squared, so I need to square it over here. So I know that this here actually means negative sine of x times negative sine of x, which gives me positive sine squared x, okay? Just in case I don't know where the bottom part that I'm about to write comes from. So here I essentially have sine squared of x, okay? So again, negative sine come from the 180 not corresponding with the sine. It's with tan. It's in quadrant 3 where tan is positive, all right? That's why I have it as negative. But because I'm squaring it here, I need to square the entire ratio over here. But negative sine x squared is negative sine x times negative sine x. That is positive sine squared x. All right, let's move on. So what is negative sine x times negative sine x? I'm multiplying these two across here now. It is positive sine squared x, okay? And that is over cos of x. Now this is all over sine squared of x, right? It's all over sine squared of x. Now I'm going to do what I've done with that fraction. Very, very easy. So sine squared x over cos x. And now this division sign over here becomes multiplication. And I know that this here is over 1. That's what I know. Okay? So now I'm going to just use the inverse operation. Right? So this now becomes 1 over sine squared x. Okay? So can you see I'm now switching it around. I'm changing division to multiplication and I am flipping the fraction. Okay? So now what do I have here? So now sine squared x times 1. It is just sine squared x over, and then cos x times sine squared x. It is just cos of x times sine squared of x. And what can I do now? I have one term in the numerator. I have one term in my denominator. So sine squared x divided by sine squared x becomes what? It is just 1. So in my numerator I have 1, and in my denominator I have cos of x. And look how I've reduced that to a very simple looking trig ratio over there. Okay? Right. Now we can move on to another one. You're going to see here's my answer, 1 over cos x. And there's many ways I can do it. You don't have to stick to one way. All right? So I'm going to do another one with you. Okay, and then you have these two to do on your own. So take a photo, take a screenshot, write it down. Okay, we're going to go through one more reduction and then we are done. But before that, I'm going to go back because I actually want us to keep this in mind over here. In fact, I will just rewrite it very, very quickly because this here is my key in trigonometry. It is A, S, T, C, all sine, tan, and cos. And then I know here I have 360 degrees plus, in this case I'm using x, I'll put x there. Here I have 180 degrees minus x. Here I have 180 degrees plus x. And here I have 360 degrees minus x. Once I know this, I can solve practically any problem that comes my way. All right. So, number one, I have sine of 360 degrees minus x times tan of negative x over cos of 180 degrees plus x. Okay, there we go. Now I want to reduce this using the reduction formulae that I was just presented to a few minutes ago. So let me go see if 360 minus corresponds with sine. 360 minus doesn't correspond with sine. Sine is 180 minus. That is why this becomes negative sine of x. Okay. In the third slide I've done, we said that tan of a negative angle, it simply remains negative tan of x. Okay. Over. Let me go and check if 180 plus the angle corresponds with cos. 180 plus the angle doesn't correspond with cos, right? Because in quadrant 3, tan is positive, okay? And cos is positive in quadrant 4. Hence why this here also become negative cos of the angle x, okay? So I'll just check. If it is 180 plus, it must be where that ratio is positive. If it's not, it becomes a negative like that over there. Now, what can I do here? I know that tan can be written as sine over cos. So I'm going to go and do that over now. So now I have negative sine of x. And now I'm going to change this over here. So negative tan of x becomes negative sine x over cos x. And that is all over negative cos x. There we go. I'm almost done. Now I can do multiplication. So this part here is actually over 1. So now multiplication becomes easy. So negative sine x times negative sine x, it is positive sine squared x over that 1 times cos x just gives me cos x. And that is over negative cos x. Okay? And just so to avoid any errors, I know this here is over 1. So I have a fraction divided by a fraction. Now I can use the inverse operation, right? The reciprocal. So I'm going to rewrite this as the fraction sine squared x over cos x. This division I will change to multiplication. And this negative cos x over 1 will become negative 1 over, or I will rather say 1 over negative cos x. I will keep the 1 there, and I will say 1 over negative cos x. So again, just to show you what I have done over here now, I've written the first fraction down, sine squared x over cos of x, division, I changed to multiplication, negative cos x over 1 become 1 over negative cos x. If you didn't see what I've done there, if I have 7 over 3 divided by negative 5 over 8, I write the first fraction down, which is 7 over 3, division becomes multiplication, and I flip the fraction at the bottom. It becomes negative 8 over 5. The same logic that I've used here, I'm going to apply to this one over here. How do I multiply fractions? Numerator, numerator, denominator, denominator. So sine squared x times 1 is simply sine squared x divided by cos x times cos x is cos squared of x. So it means that cos x times negative cos x must be negative cos x squared. It must be negative cos squared x. I'm almost done. What do I notice? I'm noticing sine of an angle over cos of an angle. And that pretty much reminds me of what I've seen over here when it comes to identities. By the identities, I've seen that, there we go, tan of an angle can be written as sine of an angle over cos of an angle, even if there is a squared. So sine squared, if sine x over cos x is tan x, it means that sine squared x divided by cos squared x must simply give me tan squared x. But do not forget, there is a negative there, so I need to put the negative in there as well. And they have reduced this very complex looking trig ratio into, trig expression rather, into a very simple looking trig ratio, and that is my answer, okay? There was 2 more that was given for you to do, so please use your reduction formula and use your trig rules, use your Cartesian plane, apply it to this, and then try to solve the problem on your own, okay? If you have any questions, you are most welcome to contact Maski TV on 072-091-0388. Remember, we are here at Maski Learning. We leave no one behind. If you have questions, go on to YouTube. Don't forget to like, comment, say in the comments you are enjoying the lesson, ask your questions in the comments, and subscribe so that every time a new video is released, and then you are there to get the updated versions. Grade 11s, I hope you enjoyed the lesson, and I will see you soon. Thank you.
Now we enter our next exciting chapter with the launch of Maskiverse, an inspiring trio of innovations, our AI-powered learning companion, captivating TV content, and a vibrant playground for interactive learning, and our own dedicated app, all coming together beautifully to deliver learning outcomes through technology.